Hi, my name is Ted. Today I'm going to be talking to you about the science of magic. Now, before I do, I got to describe what magic is, at least how I'm defining it. It's not that otherworldly, psychic kind of stuff. It is very basic, real deception. I take a coin, I put it in my hand and make it disappear. It never disappeared. It's just hidden from your view. You don't know where that coin is, and you expected it to be one place, and it turns out it was somewhere else. That is the type of magic I'm talking about. Now, what is the science of magic? The science of magic is the combination of scientists getting together with magicians and trying to find out why people can actually see a trick taking place and yet be fooled. And that is the big question. So how does magic work? And so when you get scientists together with magicians, they come up with this solution. And I find it very fascinating and interesting and helpful to understand what goes on big stages like Benny Hinn's. The very first thing I learned from the science of magic is people who are fooled are not stupid. They're not idiots, they're not sheeple, they're not the type of people I get a lot of comments about. Oh, these people who believe in Benny Hinn and these other faith healers are just stupid people. They're naive. No, they're not. A lot of them are very intelligent people. There is a professor in England, Gustav Kuhn, and he's kind of spearheading this movement. It's a new study, the science of magic, and he's kind of spearheading it. And he's working with university students who are bright and brilliant. And they set up for them a little trick. And what they did is they brought in a magician, and the magician was to create a seance. Only the problem is it wasn't real. It was all just using magic, the type of magic I explained. And there was a plant in the audience for his seance. And what he did is he asked for random people, anybody out there, and out of all the people raising their hand, he picked the plant. So the whole audience believes, and they're all going to be taking tests on this, they all believe that this guy is legitimately not a plant. Now, if they're like me, they're going to wonder, I wonder if that's a plant. I don't know. Because I always do wonder kind of like that with magicians who pick random people out of the audience. The magician who claims to be a psychic reads his aura. He begins fishing a little bit and he says, you have somebody very close to you that just died recently, don't you? Yes. And that person is an older person. Yes, oh my gosh. And then they go through this whole thing and it's all set up. Now, half the audience was told beforehand, this is all a setup. It is not real. And the interesting thing is, people who believed in the psychic possibilities, whether they were taught beforehand that this was all a farce, or whether they had not been told, equally believed it was real. Even given the evidence that this is a farce, they still would not let go of their belief that this was real. And these are university students. These people are not stupid. People who believe in faith healers are not stupid people. They can be very intelligent, bright, brilliant people. But they've been taken. So the second thing that I've learned from this, which is just incredible and fun and fascinating, is magicians take advantage of our assumptions and they take advantage of our focus. Let's go with the assumptions first. We all assume a lot. And we assume that when a magician grabs a ball and puts it in this hand and holds up to it and looks at it, we assume the ball is there. But in reality, the ball is being cupped in the other hand still. But because all the attention is going here, our assumption is going here. And so our focus will go here. So assumption and focus work together in this little trick. There's a trick that some magicians use. You take a ball and throw it up in the air. And you throw it up again. And you throw it up again. And you throw it up again. And it disappears. It's gone. What happened to it? 2/3 of the people watching this trick will see a ball go into the air and disappear. But what really happened? The third or fourth time that he throws it up in the air when it's supposed to disappear, he cups the ball. So all he's doing is moving his hand up and moving his head up. And the audience literally will see a ball going up because our assumptions will see something that did not take place and create it for our own thinking and create it in our memory. Fascinating, real interesting. Now, focus is also very important in this whole thing because what we assume, that is the direction we are going to focus, isn't it? Now, I know some of you have not stopped the video, but if you haven't stopped it, play this one out for your friends. Here's what happens. They pass the ball back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. People are moving around and stuff like that, and you're counting how many times. I think it's just one team. You're supposed to count how many times they get the ball. And while that's happening, a gorilla, a guy dressed up like a gorilla, walks onto the stage, beats his chest, and walks back off, right in the middle of the stage. Over 1/2 of the audience will not see that. People watching on video. Over half of that audience will not see that gorilla walking out on the stage. And if you don't believe me, play this video for your friends and watch and count how many of them really see that gorilla. Because what happens is our brain, even though we see that gorilla, we are not accepting it in our thinking because we can only handle so much information at a time. And the information we do handle is what we're focusing on. Now, if my assumption is that person on stage is being healed, what am I focusing on? I'm focusing on them being healed. So all the other information up there that could be given to me is escaping. So my second point comes down to magicians take advantage of our focus and our assumptions. When Benny Hinn brings up somebody to the stage, when Catherine Kuhlman brings somebody to the stage, when many faith healers do, they will ask the ushers to bring the wheelchair up to the stage. Why? Because our focus then becomes on that wheelchair. The audience loves wheelchairs, and the assumption is wheelchair, they can't walk. Most of those people on stage can already walk. If you have somebody who's 100% lame, and that's the reason why Catherine Kuhlman and so many others want to keep those away from the audience, because they don't want the focus of the audience on them. Because what happens when their focus is on them, they're going to see they're not getting healed. It's the people in the rented wheelchairs and the cheap wheelchairs that get healed. Why? Because most of them can already walk. You give a little bit of energy and pump them up with a good service, they'll be up there. Magic is entertaining. A lot of people don't want to know what goes on behind the scenes. They don't want to know how it works. They enjoy the mystery. Guess what? Those people out in the audience watching Benny Hinn, watching Kenneth Copeland and all these others, they enjoy. They love. They experience something. It's euphoria. It's exciting. And they honestly believe with all their hearts they're feeling the presence of God. And when you use worship, and I think these faith healers know how to use worship, I think in a bad way, just like they use the word of God in a bad way. But you can use worship to get people so excited. And what the science of magic has found out is people who genuinely, those students who realized that they were tricked and they wanted to believe it, they were disappointed. Ecclesiastes 1:18 says that knowledge brings sorrow. I believe that sometimes it does. And you know what? To be told that your favorite feeling and emotions that you've had from what you believed was powerful miracles from God, to be shown and proven that it was all a farce, that's hard to receive. It's disappointing and it's going to bring sorrow. So it's not easy to pull somebody who wants that feeling out and bring them into the truth. All I can say is, despite sorrow, despite disappointments, I would rather have truth, biblical truth. I would rather have truth than the feelings and the emotions and the experiences of deception. This is Ted. Have a good day.